Good morning, grade 4. I hope you are doing very well. I miss you very, very much. And today we are going to um, go to page in the workbook, page 37. We are going to do the workbook for Unit 6. So this is Unit 6, making the headlines. We are going to do the workbook for this page. And the following pages, of course. Now, if you remember when we read about Malala and her story, we wrote a news article. And the last time we did it, we thought first of the main events. So this is Malala, and this is her story. Now, here, the story of Malala, we need to write the main events. And the main event means the things, the very, very important things that happened to her. First, let's say she was not allowed to go to school. Then she was shot in her head by a terrorist group. Then we can say that she went to England. Then we say, oh, she survived. She didn't die in the shooting. She got better. And then we can say, for example, she won a Nobel Prize for being an extraordinary or a great girl who fights for girls. Now, after you get all of these main events, the most important points, you have to come here and write a short paragraph, but I want you to include your ideas. So after you write the ideas here, your ideas, I want you to come here and write them, and you get the main ideas from here. So you can say, for example, she went back to England. We said she went, or she after she was shot in her head, she was sent to England. Now, what you need to know or do here is to explain what she did there. So when you are writing about her, explain more. Write one more sentence. This is what you need to do for this part. On the next page, we have another news story. And this news story, in your workbook on page 38, this is about a new type of frogs, a new species of tiny frogs. Species means a kind of animals, a type of family of animals. Now, I would like you to read it very slowly and to understand it. After you read and understand, I want you to answer these questions. And I'll tell you about some of the words that this story or this news story is about. For example, they want you to draw a ring, like a circle, around the headline. The headline is the title in the news story, in the news story. So you have to find the title in the news story. Now, the second question, draw a wavy line under the journalist's name. The journalist is the person who writes the story. So who wrote this story? You have to find the name of the person and write it down. Or circle it as well. And the third question is draw a straight line under the sentence that sums up the key point of the article. So we have one long sentence that has the summary of the story. You have to find it as well. The next one is to draw a zigzag line under a sentence that grabs the reader's interest. So here we have to find one interesting sentence in this. There are many, there are different sentences, but I would like you to find one sentence that is very interesting and it grabs your attention. It grasps your attention and makes you pay attention. An interesting sentence, let's say. And the last one, you have to draw a dotted line under a quotation. And quotation means a sentence that is marked with speech marks, with quotations. These speech marks are, they indicate that these words, or they tell us these words were said by someone else. Exercise spelling on page 439 actually is really important. Um, and we studied this in the first semester. I believe a lot of you remember it. Now, this is the rule for adding ed and ing. So we are going to add ed or ing. And the way we add these letters to the verbs is to first check a dictionary. And another rule I would like you to remember is the ed and the ing rules when you have a CVC. For example, one of these words is jog. So jog, we have letters here that are, here we have, sorry, we have J, O, G. Now, the first letter, first we have to look at the verb itself. We have to remember three things. The first thing is that it's one syllable. So you say jog, it's one syllable. The second one is that the last three letters are, the second rule, are consonant, vowel, and consonant. So C, V, C. And the third rule, the last letter is not X, Y, or W. X, Y, or W. So this is what we need to look at before we double the last letter. Of course, you just have to add ed or ing, and you have to pay attention to some of these words. Okay, I don't want you to do all of them. Just do what you know of these verbs, and then I will give you the final answer later. And the better exercise, the exercise that I like more is exercise 2, because you have the words with ed and ing here, and they are misspelled. They are spelled in a wrong way. What you need to do here is to find the ed verbs and the ing verbs, and you are going to try and correct them. You are going to try to correct them. What is the mistake in these verbs? Find the mistake. This is the better exercise that I like more, because if we can correct the spelling, it means that we understand spelling very, very well. Here you have to add the commas to these sentences. Sometimes when we have long sentences, we put the commas to separate the parts inside the sentence itself. Now, let me give you an example. You say, my dad who goes out for a run every morning is training for a 10-kilometer race. Now, in this sentence, it's very long, so naturally we have to stop and rest. We stop where there's a good time to stop, when there is another sentence inside the sentence. For example, I'm going to read it and I'm going to make stops in this sentence. You write the commas where I stop in reading. So I'd say, my dad, who goes out for a run every morning, is training for a 10-kilometer race. Where did I stop? You have to put the commas where you stop, because this indicates that there is a sentence inside this sentence, or a phrase inside this sentence. B. The sky, which had been so sunny in the morning, was now covered in thick clouds. Now here you also have to put the commas where I stopped. C. I just nibbled one of the cookies, although mom had told me not to because they looked so delicious. So you have this sentence here. I'm going to read it and I'm going to pause. I just nipped one of the cookies, or sorry, I just nipped one of the cookies, although mom told me not to because they looked so delicious. So put the commas where I stop. Ali's hair, which hadn't been cut for a long time, was dangling in his eyes. And this is the reason why I'm wearing the hat, because I didn't cut my hair for a very long time. There are no barbers open now. So you have to find where you should put the commas, and it's where I stop in the reading. I'm going to do it one more time. Ali's hair, which hadn't been cut for a long time, was dangling in his eyes. And the last one, I felt very cold even though it was August, so I put on my thick coat. So this is another sentence in which I stopped, and I'd like you to find find the where the commas should be. In this sentence, we are going to add the phrases or the statements or the sentences that are missing. For example, here we used who. I'm going to do the first one. Who goes out for a run every morning? Sorry. Who goes out for a run every morning? Now you have to find a similar sentence and to describe the children with this sentence. You can say the children who were very surprised shout happily as they went on the swings, for example. Or the children who went to the park, you could say something like that. My dad's car, which is very cheap, you could say something like that. My favorite dinner, which is steak and potatoes, for example, was waiting for me when I get home. So you have to answer the questions in this manner. And this is the last page, and this is about using the connectives. And connectives, if you remember, are the words that connect the sentences together. So in remember when we said that there are instructions and non-chronological connectives, and there's instruction connectives. Instruction connectives means that they come in a certain order. They come in A, B, C. So there's this order that this is first, and then there's time. It's important to do something first and to do something then, or finally, or afterwards. You need to use these connectives to make a hoop game. So this is a hoop game, and here are the things you need. You need 5 paper plates, the cardboard tube from Kitchen Brawl, and you need a pencil, a mug, a pair of scissors, sticky tape, brightly colored paints, things like that. This is what you need to make this game. And this is the part where I would like you to work. I would like you to come here to this exercise. You have to use these words. You have to use first, next, and, so, then, finally, and now. You have to use the connectives. You can use your own connectives if you want. You can use a word like afterwards or third if you want. Use any connective that works in order to make these sentences sound more connected together. They make the sentences sound more connected and better. And this is our lesson. Your homework, of course, is to finish the workbook and to send it back to me through email. I love your emails. I'm looking through them every day, and I'll reply to all of them very, very soon. Grateful. Thank you very much for watching this. I hope to meet you soon. Please keep up the good work and bye bye.